Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Cartridge Fun. Today we have some long overdue pickups. Now when I say long overdue, I really mean it because I haven't shared with you guys my pickups for a while, and this stuff came from August 7th, which isn't good. So anyways, got a ton to share with you. A lot of NES games as well as a cool accessory. We'll jump right into that cool accessory now. I picked up a laser line case. So this was a Nintendo brand storage unit. Nothing too fancy, it's spring loaded. There's a door that's missing, which is a bummer. So I picked up two of these for $10. I was doing some game hunting with Ryan, and this guy called, said he had a ton of stuff, so we thought we'd go together and maybe bundle some stuff up and get a better deal. I don't know if we got a great deal, but picked up some things that we didn't have. So the games were stored in these laser line cases, and I saw laser line on the side. Not too familiar with it. I didn't know that it was a Nintendo brand at that time. So definitely had to pick it up. Unfortunate that the doors aren't there, because that's really the coolest part. But it's a cool way to store games. I've been putting them down by my light gun area tube TV, and it makes it accessible for the kids, and pretty happy with it. They look pretty awesome. They cleaned up nice. And so the NES games that I picked up, all of them I didn't have in my collection. Kind of piled them up, was hoping to get a really good deal. I would say that I really didn't get a great deal on everything, but that's kind of the way it goes. We were hoping that if we paid a little bit more, he had a lot of stuff in his basement, so the next time that we'd see him, we'd get better deals, but he hasn't called back, so we kind of got burned on that one, I think, a little bit. So first game I picked up was by Acclaim. This is Swords and Serpents. Most of these games I don't know much about, so a lot of it's just going to go off the cover, and I don't know if this is an RPG. Kind of looks like it. I'm sure you guys will correct me down in the comments below. But again, I don't know pretty much anything about these games quite yet. I haven't cleaned them up, haven't tested them. That's pretty sad because I got these in August, like I said. So, Swords and Serpents, one I didn't have. And then this is an absolutely filthy copy. This was put out by Sammy. This is Michael Andretti's World GP. It's got some weird black stains on it, so hopefully it'll clean up pretty nice. A lot of the games that this guy had were pretty filthy. There were quite a few games that I passed on because the screws on the back look a little different. They look like they've been messed with. They're not that 3.8 bits. Some had flat heads mixed with the 3.8, so I just started questioning if there were legit boards and everything, so I kind of passed on those. But one I didn't have in my collection, this one I was really excited about. I haven't seen it for a really good price, and again, I didn't probably pay a good price on this. I can't remember, maybe 40 bucks. But this was Toxic Crusaders. I remember this show as a kid. I had quite a few of the toys as well.
No friends, no girls at home, so I got radioactive ugly. Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders. I live in the dump 'cause the ribs real low. Got a little black Bobby and he loves me so. Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders. Now me and the boys fight against law. Oh, we're hideously deformed. Hey, I'm sitting on top of the world with my mom, tutu, and girl. Wow! Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders, Toxic.
Just a really interesting game. I do know a little bit about this one. Glad I have it in my collection, even though I paid a little bit much for it. I bet you it's probably like a $20, $30 game. You guys can let me know. A game that I know nothing about. This is Phantom Fighter. Never seen it before. Some of these titles, again, you know, when you have a collection list, you go through it quite often, so there are weird titles that stick out at you. And there's a couple of these games that I just wasn't aware of, that I don't remember ever hearing anything about. So Phantom Fighter was one of them. I'm excited to add this game to my light gun collection. This is Freedom Force. This one I actually really enjoy. It's put out by Sunsoft. Just a unique light gun game, I guess, if you want to call them unique. Definitely different than Duck Hunt and stuff like that. So that will go in the Laserline case, and I'm sure my kids will enjoy it greatly. This was one of the games that stood out to me, as I've never heard of it, never seen it. It looks so bizarre, but that is Circus Caper. So I'm picturing this as a fairly early Nintendo game, even though it is a three screw. I wonder if that's 87, 88, somewhere around there. Copyright on it says 1990. That's really interesting. So don't know anything about the game. I know that it came from Randall Electric in Arthur, Illinois. So kind of interesting that ended up in Minnesota. But Circus Caper, happy to, I guess, add that to my collection. It looks so weird. So I definitely want to check that one out. Maybe I'll put a Twitter post together on it or something like that. This is a game that I passed many times. I assume that I had it probably like 3-4 times over, and probably thought I had doubles as well, but I've passed on it. I don't know how many times, but tennis. So this is a black box game. This is 5 screw. I'm not sure if they even put a 3 screw out on this one, but this is part of the black box sports series. Not a great game, probably not the best tennis game on the NES, but I didn't have it. It's a pretty cheap game. I think I've seen it $3 to $5. I think I probably paid $5 for it. Again, not sure if that's a great deal or not. This game also excited me. This is Shadow of the Ninja. This is one that I've been wanting in my collection for quite some time. I hear really good things about it, and it is a pricey game. I've only seen it a handful of times for around that $50 mark. I feel like I paid $30, but maybe that's just to make myself feel better. Not really sure. So Shadow of the Ninja, very interesting game. A lot of people enjoy it. You know, it's got ninjas in it. You can't go wrong with ninjas. Also picked up Spelunker, and this was a game that I rented a lot as a kid. Why? I have no idea. And I really don't remember much about this game, but I do remember picking this game out with my brother, and we probably skipped some really great titles to grab Spelunker. I'm pretty sure we skipped on Mega Man a couple times, but the cover art looked pretty interesting, but it's not that great of a game. Also picked up Rampart, Jaleco release, in very good condition, very clean and minty looking except for the top. But I was, again, surprised that I didn't have this one already, but added it to the collection. And then, of course, you gotta have a pinball game. I think I might have all of them now. I'd have to go back and look, so that subset might be done. But this is Trade West High Speed World's #1 pinball, released by Rare, I believe. So very interesting looking cover, but it's pinball. There's not much that you can do with it. For some reason, I feel like this one stands out as a fairly decent pinball game. This game I know nothing about. I've seen it maybe one other time. This is Hudson Soft, which typically Hudson Soft does a pretty good job. And this is Mendel Palace. The cover art just looks very unique and interesting. There are a lot of bubbles. I wonder if this is a puzzle game. I'm not really sure. Let me know down in the comments below. Again, I really need to test these games out and let you know my thoughts. I'm really behind. I probably got a stack over to my right of maybe 40, 50 games that I have to go through. So a lot of cleaning. And then I have an unlicensed game. I typically avoid them, but the more I hang out with all these other collectors, the more this stuff ends up in my collection. I think that's kind of how it goes. But this is Captain Comic. This is a Color Dream. For some reason, I feel like Ryan says this is a good game. Not really sure. He might say it's a crappy game. I feel like he said it's a good game. Not really sure. So it looks really interesting. I don't have a lot of Color Dream games, but that unlicensed collection is definitely growing, which is kind of weird. And then I also picked up Solstice, and I'm really hoping this is Solstice. It's Star Voyager is written on it, so I don't know. Again, there were some screws that were interchanged on some games. This one looks all legit, but again, you never know if they swapped out a board or whatever. So kind of curious why it says Star Voyager. We might need to jump into that fairly soon. But Solstice, released by ImageSoft, so I don't really know a lot of games released by ImageSoft. But yeah, again, another one that I didn't have. I'm going to be saying that a ton. And then the last game that I got in this lot is a black box game that is fairly decent. Another light gun game, so of course that's going to go into my laser line case, and that is GUMSHOE. I've never found a good price on this. Typically, I think it sits around that $15, $20 mark. This guy's prices were all messed up. There were some expensive games that were really cheap, and some cheap games more expensive, and it was very inconsistent. The sad thing was, he said he had a ton of games. We had to drive 45 minutes to go check them out, so it gave him time to price them all out individually, which was extremely frustrating. But I think this one was maybe $5 or $7. One that I kind of wanted to have in my collection. It makes me start wondering how close I am to completing all of my black box games. I might have to do some checking on that. So again, nothing too fancy in this video, but I wanted to start catching you guys up on my pickups. As always, you guys could check me out on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. That helps me out a ton. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.